How to know if you're making progress in calisthenics. It's a little bit hard to know where you are with your training if you're not tracking down most of your exercises, at least the main ones, because if you do not track your training, then you can only see if you're making progress by unlocking a skill or doing more reps or more seconds of a skill. But progress actually happens in so many different ways, and you might actually be making progress even though it does not feel like that. So some benefits of tracking your progress is that some of your workouts will feel more productive, and you might actually start feeling like, you know, an athlete or something. If you're having troubles with that, you will be able to distinguish exercises that are effective and exercises that are basically just junk volume, which is kind of hard to do if you just eyeball your training. This way you can just look down on the exercises, what you did, and take notes from that. And that way you can see what actually works better for you and what does not. You might even get a better feeling for your overall training frequency. So for example, if you did a training on Monday and you wrote it down, and you repeat that same workout on Wednesday, but it's not really how you expect it to be, you're kind of sore, you're kind of tired, just look when you did the last session. You did it on Monday, you did it 2 days before. Maybe that's too little. To make sure you can repeat the entire week, and if it happens again, then you can be sure that you're doing it too frequent. And lastly, you will always be able to check up on what you did the last time, and you can see how can you improve this time. And there are many different ways to improve, not just reps or unlocking a skill. How much more motivated would you be to train if you could see small progress every single day compared to seeing huge progress one day and then you stagnate for a month? So the way to track your training, you will need a notebook. Do not do it on the phone, because phone has a million purposes, but this notebook that you're gonna buy has only one. So the way to track your progress, your training, is write a day and date at the top. Next to the date, write your primary focus of the training session. So for example, Monday 6th of February, front lever. Then make a table with columns and rows. In the first row, write exercise. Second row, write load. Third row, write sets. Fourth row, write reps. Fifth row, write rest. Optional. Sixth row, write RPE. And then the last row, write note. And you're going to leave it a little bit wider than the others. So now I'm going to explain what each row represents. Exercise, just the name of your exercise. For example, full planche presses, straddle planche push-ups, front lever pulls, handstand push-ups, whatever. Load is intensity or the amount of weight. In the gym that would be 20 pounds, 300 pounds, 150 pounds. In calisthenics it's more like band assistance, so it can be heavy band assisted, light band assisted. It can be ankle weighted, it can be body weight, weight vest. Generally your main loads should be either body weight or light band assistance. Sets are just the number of sets you perform per exercise. That can be 2 sets, that can be 6 sets, 4 sets, whatever. Reps, the number of repetitions performed per each set. And because you don't always do the same amount of repetitions per each set, just write how many repetitions you did per each set separately. But if you did the same amount of reps per each set, then you can just write the number. Rest, time taken off between each set. Very important training variable, and it's very easy to manipulate to make progress. It's very underrated. Rest can be, for example, 1 minute, it can be 2 minutes, it can be EMOM, 30 seconds, all of that. Now, optional, 6th row, RPE, rate of perceived effort. So that's basically how hard was the set out of 10. So for me, 1 out of 10 RPE would be 10 push-ups, something which is very easy. 10 out of 10 RPE would be 3 reps of 90 kgs overhead press. Very hard, I almost passed out after it. Then the last row, the one you left a little bit wider, note. In that row you're going to write some additional notes, maybe evaluate your form, stuff like that. Once you have all of that written and you actually fill it out with the exercise that you did that day, you can just open your notebook and see exactly what you did and how it looks like, and you can ask yourself a question: how can I make this better? How can I improve this the next time I train? It can be a little small thing like making the rest a little bit shorter or doing 1 more set with the same rest. It's rarely doing 1 rep, because usually you won't be able to do that. But the way to make progress using this is to first increase your sets. Then you can decrease rest. So from 2 minutes you can do 1.5 minutes, so 1.5 minutes. And then you do the same amount of workload in less time, which is also amazing progress. So if you're doing 5 sets, that's 4 breaks. 4 times 2 is 8 minutes. If you do 6 sets of 2, you're going to do 12 reps, but you've done it in 10 minutes. Then if you do 6 sets of 2 with 1.5 minutes, That's 7.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes less time. That's great progress, believe it or not. And only after you improve in those two, you can increase the reps or load or the intensity. You can simply just increase reps to 3 front lever pulls. You can add weights, increase the load. You can increase load the other ways. You can add an isometric pause in the front lever position and then do pulls. That's also a way to increase the load, the intensity. But let's say that you increased your reps. So you did 6 sets of 2 with a minute and a half of rest. Now you're doing sets of 3, and all of a sudden you can only do 4 sets with minute and a half of rest. So 6 sets of 2 equals 12 reps, and 4 sets of 3 also equals 12 reps. But because of the fact that you're doing less sets, you also have less time to rest. So now you have only 3 breaks, and that comes down to 4.5 minutes. That's 3 minutes less for the same volume. And if you can perform the same workload in less time, guess what? You've gotten stronger. Progress is not just more reps. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it, because I did, because this is the first video that I actually made a script for, and the first video that I actually made some decorations around. Well, you can't really call them decorations, but just some cleaning so I can finally train here without having my head full of branches. Thank you.